Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to speak on the budget as it relates to the people of Region 10, whom I'm honored to represent. First, let it be recorded, I am not in agreement with thinking that the role of the legislator is to rubber stamp the decisions of the executive, and the non-executive members of this House have to accept a budget without question or input. This is not the Middle Ages of feudalism, where the rigid structure of government consists of kings, lords, and the peasants, and the upper nobility class maintains control over the lower classes. No, Madam Speaker, this is the 21st century. The nation is called the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, governed by a constitution that says all are equal and should be so treated, and efforts to make such real are in our representative political system. Ipso facto, the elections and allocation of seats in this House, which are based on a universal process, must see us giving voice and representation to the innate desire for equality by those who have sent us to this House. The power we have is not ours. It belongs to the people. And we must use it in the interest of the people. And since the legislator is tasked with oversight responsibility of the state's business, it is a responsibility we must carry with due diligence and purpose and go through this budget section by section, line by line, making amendments as necessary. Madam Speaker, when this process is over, the budget must be a national budget, representing the developmental desires of every Guyanese, in every region, be they supporters of the PPP, the APNU, AFC, or non-aligned. This budget must see an end to feudalism, must starve the cats of fat, fat is bad for one's health, and restore some sanity to the economic planning of this country. No region, regardless of which party controls the Regional Democratic Council, must be made to feel the ballots cast in November 2011 meant nothing, or it meant a few will be the beneficiaries at the exclusion of others. We must deliver a budget that strives for justice and equity, that creates the enabling environment to give the poor an opportunity to get out of poverty, that respects the constitutional rights of all, that rewards the labor of the honest and hardworking, that close the gap between the haves and have-nots. This is our moment and our time, and we, the members of this honorable House, must seize this opportunity. A nation comprising of diverse interests and identity must be prepared to equally share the responsibilities, benefits, and sacrifices of this beautiful land. Only then can we truly make claim to our national motto, one people, one nation, one destiny. Madam Speaker, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "On some positions, cowardice asks the question, is it expedient? And then expedience comes along and asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? Conscience asks the question, is it right?" Unquote. The positions we take on this budget will answer the questions King posed. Madam Speaker, my colleagues have ably dissected the figures and exposed the discriminatory economic policies of this administration and their hodgepodge approach to governance. The task is mine to put to perspective how these feudal policies will affect the vulnerable in our midst, our women, children, youth, elderly, and working poor, for whom a budget can only have meaning when it respects their innate desire for equal opportunities. It is said, the true measure of a government is the way it treats the vulnerable. And while we sat here and heard outpourings of statistics from members on the opposite side of the House, purporting to address the needs of the vulnerable, Madam Speaker, such is a farce. This is a budget that has no regard for social and economic justice for all Guyanese. This is a budget that widens the doors for corruption and exclusion and will deepen divisions, distrust, disposition, and dislocation among ordinary citizens who are being used as pawns in the game of the self-serving. We must knock out the cocoa gate that has allowed for two classes of people. There must be no upper nobility class or peasant class. There is a Guyanese class, and we must make sure this budget reflects it. Madam Speaker, I am compelled to inform this House, more specifically the members of the opposite side, that the true measurement of a people's government would see them addressing the thriving business of working force gender abuse, which is having direct impact on the family structure and, more importantly, children. The employment of women as security guards, janitors, drainage and irrigation workers, where they are expected to protect or maintain the property of another and the environment. They work under abominable conditions and earn meager pay. This is evidence of a dual society and an uncaring government. This matter was raised in this Honorable House on the 14th of March 2013. It would be interesting to hear what efforts, if any, the Minister of Human Services has taken or is prepared to take to correct this injustice. Region 10's economic dislocation is having two major immediate impacts on family structure. One, it has forced the men folk to migrate to other areas in search of work to provide for the family. And two, the absence of our men folk has placed greater responsibility on our women to take any job to supplement the family's income or keep the family together until the father can find work or send money. The family structure is under great stress and flux as extended members are also forced to leave the community for work, and this is placing a strain on traditionally held values of a village raising a child. A vacuum is being created in the lives of our children who are missing out on the comfort and guidance of a stable family structure. Within the school system, there are some pressing issues that need immediate attention, including the lack of furniture and crowded classes. The student-teacher ratio of 40:1 is a recipe for comprised quality delivery in education. There is also need for in-house student welfare counselors to help children with needed life skills and fostering productive relationship with teachers, fellow students, and wider society. Madam Speaker, in the delivery of education, we all have rights, but with those rights come responsibilities. So all must play their part. In order for us to produce well-rounded students and protected citizens, we must be able to meaningfully and structurally invest in them. Proper playgrounds are needed for recreation and training, which are necessary components in the learning process and for healthy lives. It is my belief every school should have a state-of-art library that would properly channel the inquisitive nature of childhood, even as it offers students the needed grounding in research, homework, and assignments. Library time should also be on the curriculum. We also need a curriculum that addresses local history, from the formation of this land, the struggles and achievements of its peoples to recent, and this must be done in an honest and forthright manner. That brings elucidation to past events. Make known the contributions of all which are critical to foregoing a national identity of pride and oneness. There is need for better pay package for teachers also, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Region 10 has a branch of Crichlow Labour College and calls on the executive to restore the subvention in order that Linland in order that Linden, and I see the Honorable Minister is not here, that Linden can create more rubber facades. And when I say more rubber facades, I mean more persons having the opportunity he had to a Crichlow Labour College education that he used as a base for further educational pursuits and climbing the professional ladder. I appeal to the conscience of this Honorable Minister, even in his absence, to do the right thing and join us in ensuring this subvention is included in this year's budget. Will you join me, Honorable Minister? Honorable Member, there is no better advocate, Madam Speaker, than a beneficiary. Workers employed in the region continue to fight against those who are denying them the security that comes with employment. And I say, the executive is a leading player to these unjust practices. As such, it is incumbent upon me to address the Honorable Minister of Labour, Dr. Nanda Gopal's statement yesterday, Thursday, the 4th of April, 2013, on the industrial, in his absence, Madam Speaker, dispute between the Guyana Bauxite and General Workers Union and the Bauxite Company of Guyana Incorporated. This company is situated in Region 10, and I would like to inform the Honorable Member the comment he made that the union should have gone to the court on the matter of the company refusing to engage them exposes his inability to stand up to do what is right. Yeah. May I remind this House that the Bauxite Company of Guyana Incorporated took the matter of arbitration to the High Court, disputing the inconsistency in the minister's use of the name Bauxite Company of Guyana Incorporated and RUSA. It was this minister, through our state attorney, who gave the judge the commitment that the inconsistency, Madam Speaker, will be fixed, and the new letter is dispatched to start the arbitration process. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member is asked, where is the honor in carrying out his duties under the law for all workers, and not only for the unions who are considered friends of the PPPC? Where is his demonstration of equality that the Constitution also guarantees the workers in Region 10? Mr. Minister, the Bauxite Company of Guyana Incorporated is owned by RUSA, a Russian-based company, and the people of Guyana. And as a citizen of this land, which makes me part owner of this company, I expect that on this position, your conscience would ask the question, is my action right? Surely the answer will be a resounding no. And in like manner, you must act in accordance with the law and your responsibility under the law, because it would be the right thing to do. In this moment of question, stand up and be counted as one possessing the strength of character to do what is right. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Housing, in his absence, boasted that 5,869 house lots were allocated in 2012. But the Honorable Minister has withheld critical information such as the exploitation of the people of Linden and Region 10, who are being asked to pay extraordinary large sums for plots. This minister visits the region in the one-stop outfit.
How much is large?
Having people practically 500 and 300,000, 150,000. Having people practically scrambling at each other and sitting in the hot sun for extended periods before they are attended to. Here is another classic example of feudal thinking and management. These so-called housing schemes, Madam Speaker, do not have lights, water, roads, or drainage. And where such exists, there are substandard works. Madam Speaker, I pause at this moment to show you a sample of roads in Region 10. That is in this bag here, Madam Speaker. 2 millimeters thickness, Madam Speaker. You can walk and kick this. I brought this, Madam Speaker, because it is being boasted about roads The problem, I keep saying, it's not the work that is being done. We are not getting value for money, and we need some standard in our region. Madam Speaker, if you need a closer look, I can have this sent to you. Oftentimes, prospective owners are left at their wits' end to source financing, and the poor has little or no chance of owning a home. It is unfortunate. It is better to see the real thing. It is unfortunate this has become the new standard of housing development, as against a time when prospective homeowners were not only guaranteed financing through cooperatives or national banking institutions to build their homes, but such were done through self-help, creating community environments. The owner gave him time off from work to build, and when the development was completed, these new homeowners walked or drove down paved roads with proper drainage and irrigation, turned the key and opened the door, raised their hand, and by the flick of a switch, turned on their lights, Madam Speaker. Turned on the tap and water flowed, sent their children to play with other children on developed recreational grounds, and held activities in their community building. Our elderly, another vulnerable group, is still to see the deserving dignity that should come with aging and having served this nation in their younger days. An uncaring government plans to increase their pension to $12,500, which is a measly income when compared to the millions the young so-called champion of the earth will receive as a monthly pension and benefits. Madam Speaker, to the $2.9 billion budgeted for Linden electricity, it needs to be recorded that this sum forms part of the investment Region 10 made in this country's economy. It came as a result of the sweat, tears, and blood shed by forebearers, us and those who fell on July 18, 2012. The people of Linden and Region 10 would like to remind this honorable House of their desire of the honoring of the 21st of August, the August 21st, 2012 agreement with the government. We want to go ahead with our programs, Madam Speaker, for economic and social determination, as equally guaranteed to us under the Constitution. The residents also requested a message to be delivered to this House in response to the Honorable Attorney General, Anna Nandalan, comments on the recommended compensation by the Linden Commission of Inquiry to the injured and the families of the deceased. This honorable member is on record as saying this compensation is a diversion of taxpayers' money. The people who I represent require that I remind him they too are taxpayers, and so any money being paid to them is theirs and not his. They ask that this House pause and look around this majestic structure, the ornate designs, elegant columns, and tasteful craftsmanship, and remember that it was built by their ancestors. They ask that as you walk into this compound, take note of the statue and the majestic presence of a man who led the 20th century fight for one man, one vote, and eternal self-government, which made it possible for you to sit within these hallowed halls. They ask that I inform you that when this building was built and Mr. Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow fought for voting rights and self-government, these actions were taken for the benefit of all. And while they detest the executive's action of treating them like second-class citizens, they ask that you be told these actions are not the reflection of them, but speak to your character flaw. And the insults you think you are hurling at them, such insults speak to the defilement of those whose mouth they flowed from. My constituent asked me to remind you that 300 plus years of slavery, indentureship, and colonialism did not kill their spirit, nor stopped their fight or prevented them from pursuing self-development. They have asked me to let you know that you, members of the opposite side of the House, cannot crush their indomitable spirit. They say they will not stop until the equality granted to them in the Constitution is respected by you. Because just as the sun is sure to rise in the east, they know good is sure to overcome evil. Madam Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to address the Honorable, in his absence again, Minister of Health, who boasted that Linden has one of the best managed hospitals. Madam Speaker, today the nurses went on strike. For 76 persons or workers did not receive their gratuity for the month of March. Of this 76, 53 are nurses, 23 of them are auxiliary staff. You have about 30 plus single mothers, and among them, the males, they are the breadwinners of the homes. Madam Speaker, I was reliably informed that the Kokwani Hospital, in their what you call petty cash expenditure, or petty cash flow, they only have $3,000. And the Linden Hospital Complex, $30,000. And this is grossly inadequate. Madam Speaker, the board of the Linden Hospital needs to be reconfigured. The people of Linden would like the Linden Hospital to be corporatized. The Linden Hospital, both hospitals must come under the Regional Democratic Council. This process was to be done since in 1997. But the reason why it was not corporatized is because the government would want to or wants to continue or continues to practice what my honorable colleague termed as controlled freakism. Madam Speaker, at the Wisma Hospital there is need for a restroom, 2 double bunks, refrigerators so as to store insulin. There is need for 3 ambulances. Because what you find, Madam Speaker, when the one ambulance leaves Linden to come to Georgetown in emergency, we have no ambulance left in the area, and so you can imagine what happens. The hospital needs fogging. Madam Speaker, this should be supplied with urgency if the hospital is to be seen as if the hospital is to give the kind of service that is required by the people of Region 10. I thank you, Madam Speaker.